Hello everyone, today we are going to learn English subject in which we will learn the adjectives. Let us see what are adjectives. Adjectives are the word which describes a noun or a pronoun in a sentence, and also it indicates the size, shape, duration and quality of a noun. That means by using this word we can identify how noun or pronoun in a sentence looks like. Means about their shape and size, duration, qualities, etc. For example, huge, blue, good, fast, etc. All these are the examples of adjectives. Adjective tells us extra information about our noun or pronoun in a sentence. Adjectives are further divided into 6 types. That is descriptive adjective, quantitative adjective, possessive adjective, interrogative adjective, and demonstrative adjective and numeral adjectives. So one by one we will see the types of adjectives here. The first type of adjective we will see, that is descriptive adjective. Descriptive adjective are the words that describes a noun or pronoun in a sentence. That is the words that describes the size, shape, feelings, duration or a quality of a noun or pronoun in a sentence. For example, happy, cheap, tall, etc. So all such words which indicate the size, shape, feelings or duration or the qualities of a noun or pronoun. These words they are called as descriptive adjectives. Now suppose you have given one question, that is underline the descriptive adjectives, and the example is given Rahul is a nice person. Here we should underline the word nice because it is an descriptive adjective which describes the quality of Rahul, who is a nice person. Now second example is given, my friend made a scary face. So here we should underline the word scary because it describes the feelings of a person. That is descriptive adjective. So we should underline the word scary here. Now the next example is given, suppose you are looking fat. So here we should underline the word fat because it describes the size of a particular person who looks fat. So the word fat, it is a descriptive adjective here. Now the next example is given, the cake was yummy. In this sentence the word yummy, it describes the taste of a cake, that is a quality of a cake. So here the yummy, this word is a descriptive adjective and we should underline that word. In this way we can identify the descriptive adjectives in a sentence. Now let us see the second type of adjectives, that is quantitative adjectives. Quantitative adjectives are the adjectives that describes the quantity or amount, and also they are used to quantify or measure the thing. So by using these words we get to know that the number of nouns or pronouns in a sentence or the amount of noun or pronoun in a sentence. Let us see the examples. Here little, few, all, plenty, three, no, none, etc. These are the examples of quantitative adjectives. All these words we denote to identify the amount of a noun or pronoun in a sentence. And the question is given, underline the quantitative adjectives. So here one by one I will give you some sentences and you have to identify the quantitative adjectives in that sentence, and just you have to underline that word. Now suppose the first example is given, I ate some rice. So here the word some, it denotes the amount of rice here. That means the word some is a quantitative adjective and we should underline that word. Now the next example is given, it was the most difficult problem. In this sentence the word most, it describes the amount of hardness or difficultness of the problem. That means here we should underline the word most, which is a quantitative adjective. Now the next example is given, not a single boy is in the classroom. Here the word single, it denotes the number of boys in a classroom. That means no any one boy, it is in the classroom there. So here we should underline the word single, which is a quantitative adjective. Now the next example is given, she has 4 pens in her bag. In this sentence the word 4, it denotes the number of pens in her bag. So here we should underline the word for, which is a quantitative adjective. That means the numbers that is from 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, these are also the examples of quantitative adjectives. So here in this way we can identify the given adjective is a quantitative adjective or not. Now we will see the third type of adjectives, that is possessive adjective. The words that are used before a noun to denote or indicate the ownership or possession. All such words, they are called as possessive adjectives. That means by these words we get to know that whose ownership or right is there on the given object in a sentence. The words my, our, your, his, her, its, their are possessive adjectives. That means for the pronoun I, we will use the possessive adjective my, and for pronoun we will use the possessive adjective our, and for you, your, he, his, she, her, they, their, it, its. So in this way we can use the possessive adjectives for the given pronoun in a sentence. Let us see the examples of it. Now suppose the question is given, write the correct possessive adjectives. So here in the given sentences there will be a fill in the blanks in which we should fill the correct possessive adjective. The first example is given, I really like dash new phone. In this sentence the pronoun is given I. So here we should use the possessive adjective my for pronoun I in a sentence. Now the sentence will become, I really like my new phone. Now the second example is given, Rahul has hurt dash foot. In this sentence we have given the noun Rahul. That is the name of one boy. So here we should use the possessive adjective his. So now the sentence will become, Rahul has hurt his foot. Now the third sentence is given, they like dash new teacher. So because in this sentence we have given the pronoun they, so we should use the possessive adjective their. Now the sentence will become, they like their new teacher. Now the fourth sentence is given, we eat dash lunch. Because the pronoun in a sentence is given we, so here we should use the possessive adjective our. And the sentence will become, we eat our lunch. In this way, we can identify the possessive adjectives in a sentence. Now we will learn the fourth type of adjective, that is interrogative adjectives. An interrogative adjective is a word of WH type question which is used to interrogate anything in a sentence. To interrogate means to ask a question about anything to get some extra information about it. So all such words we are using to ask a question, they are called as interrogative adjectives. The words we used to ask a question, that is what, whose, where, why, how, which, etc. So these are all words, they are called as interrogative adjectives. Here we will use the word what to ask a question about an event or a noun in a sentence. The next adjective, that is whose, we will use it to ask a question about the ownership of a person on any object. Next interrogative adjective, that is where. Whenever we want to ask a question about the place or an area of an object, we will use the adjective where to ask a question. Next adjective is why. Whenever we are talking about the something has happened but we want to know the reason of that thing or that event, so at that time we will use the adjective why to ask a question. Next adjective is how. Whenever we want to ask a question about the number of nouns in a sentence or the amount of nouns in a sentence, we will use the word how to ask a question about it. Next adjective is which. Whenever we want to know exactly about anything happened or particularly we want to know about it, at that time we will use the word which to ask a question about it. Let us see the examples now. So here the question is given, fill in the blanks with correct interrogative adjectives in a sentence. So one by one I will give you some examples here. in which you should identify which interrogative adjective will be suitable there. Fill in the blanks. Here we have given the first sentence, dash photo is this, and also we have given the options why or whose. We have to choose the correct interrogative adjective from these options given. Here we are talking about the ownership of the person who is having right on the photo. So here our answer is whose. Now the sentence will become whose photo is this question mark. Second sentence is given dash is the time, and the options are given what or whose. And the answer is what, because we never say that any person's ownership is there on time. To ask a question about time, we will ask like what is the time. So the sentence will become what is the time question mark. Third example is given dash are you going, and the options are what or where. Here we can see the action of going is happen. Here we are not talking about any event happened. Here we want to ask a question about at which place he is going. So therefore we will use the word where to ask this question, and the sentence will become where are you going question mark. In this way we can identify the interrogative adjectives in a sentences. Now we will learn the fifth type of adjective, that is demonstrative adjective. Demonstrative adjectives are used to point out nouns or pronouns in a sentence. And these words, they are always used before the nouns or which they are referring to in a sentence. There are 4 demonstrative adjectives, that is this, that, these, those. Let us see how we can use these adjectives in a sentence. Whenever we are talking about the nouns or pronouns which are nearby to us, and if it is a singular form, then we will use the adjective this to point out towards that noun or pronoun. And if it is in plural form, then we will use the adjective this to point out towards that noun or pronoun. And if the objects are kept far away from us, then in singular form we will use that to point out towards that noun or pronoun, and in plural form we will use those adjective to point out towards that noun or pronoun in a sentence. So by using this chart we can remember which adjective we will use in a sentence. Now let us see the examples of it. Now suppose you have given the question, fill in the blanks with correct demonstrative adjectives. That means here one by one I will give you some sentences in which you should identify which demonstrative adjective is suitable in fill in the blanks from the options given. Now the first example is given, I bought dash fruits yesterday, and the options are given these or these. Here we are pointing towards the fruits that I bought yesterday. Because it is in a plural form, so we should use the demonstrative adjective these to point out towards it. Now the sentence will become, I bought these fruits yesterday. Now we will learn the sixth type of adjective, that is numeral adjectives. Let us see what is numeral adjectives. Numeral adjectives can be numbers or numerical orders that describes the number of nouns or the order of noun that is being described. That means all the words which denotes the total number of nouns or position of a noun in sentence, all such words they are called as numeral adjectives. Depending on this, numeral adjectives, they are furtherly divided into 3 types, that is cardinal numeral adjectives, ordinal numeral adjectives, and third type is indefinite numeral adjectives. The 2 types of numeral adjectives, that is cardinal numeral adjective and ordinal numeral adjective. First we will see cardinal numeral adjectives. Whenever we know the exactly total number of nouns in a sentence, so all such words they are called as cardinal numeral adjective. That means the number of nouns we know exactly how many as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, etc. So all such words they are called as cardinal numeral adjectives. And the second type of numeral adjective, that is ordinal numeral adjective. Ordinal numeral adjective, it denotes the order of a noun in sentence. That means in what order as first, second, third, etc., which denotes the position of a noun. All such words, they are called as ordinal numeral adjectives. Now let us see the examples. Now suppose the question is given, fill in the blanks with correct cardinal or ordinal numbers in word forms, and the numbers will be given in brackets. Here the first example is given, my brother is in dash class, and the number is given 6. We should write the ordinal number for 6 because we are talking about numerical order, that is the position of a class in which my brother is. So the ordinal adjective for the number 6 is sixth. That is why we have written here the adjective sixth, and the sentence will become, my brother is in 6th class. Now the second example is given, she has dash siblings, and the number is given. We should write the cardinal adjective for the number 4 because here we are talking about the number of siblings she has, but not about the numerical order. So simply we should write the number 4 in words here. Now the sentence will become, she has 4 siblings. Now the third sentence is given, Rima is dash years old, and the number is given 10. Here we should write the cardinal adjective of the number 10 because we have to write the number of years, that is the age of Rima, and that could not be in numerical order. So we should write here the number 10 in words. That means the example will become, Rima is 10 years old. In this way, we can write the correct cardinal or ordinal numbers for the given sentences in here. Now we'll see the third type of numeral adjective, that is indefinite numeral adjective. Let us see the definition. Indefinite numeral adjectives are the words that do not express an exact number of nouns. Indefinite numeral adjectives can also be an quantitative adjectives. That means whenever we don't know the exact number of nouns in a sentence, so at that time we will use some words instead of that, which also indicates the number of nouns in a sentence. That is, for example, few, most, several, little, etc. These are the examples of indefinite numeral adjectives. Now let us see the question. Now suppose you have given the question, underline the indefinite numeral adjectives. So here one by one I will give you some sentences and you have to identify the indefinite numeral adjective and you have to underline that word only. Now the first example is given, several flowers are beautiful. To talk about number of flowers, here the word is given several. Here we don't know exactly how many flowers are there, but the word several, it indicates the indefinite numeral adjective. So we will underline the word several here. Now the second example is given, there were no students in the class. In this sentence, to talk about the number of students, the word is used no, which is a indefinite numeral adjective. So we will underline the word no here. Now third example is given, is there any cherry left in the basket? So to talk about the number of cherries in the basket, the word is used any here, which is an indefinite numeral adjective. So we should underline the word any here. In this way we can identify the indefinite numeral adjectives in the sentences.